Welcome to Friday morning of the WEN Summit. Congratulations. Thank you guys for being here. It is an honor. I am so grateful that you have chosen to spend your time this way. Tish has got her mug there that she's going to get lubed up and ready for later tonight. It's going to be an awesome event today. If you weren't here yesterday, wow, it was just amazing and mind-blowing. I felt like I had my cup running over, it was just incredible. So today is going to be even better, if that's possible. I am really, really excited for today's first speaker. We have the amazing Charlene Ignacio Bosworth, who is going to be speaking. She has become a dear friend in the last few months and just really one of those solid people, has such an amazing background and all of the pieces and parts when we talk about, mindset and practical together, and just really locked and loaded on, what it takes to really run a successful, profitable, thriving business that works. And that last part is super important as well, because you can run a successful, profitable business, but it won't be working for you. And she takes that last piece in there into account. So I want to welcome Charlene to the stage, and I'm going to go ahead and pin her in the spotlight and welcome. So happy to have you here.
Oh, thank you, Haley, so much for that introduction. You are a dear friend, and it's the vibe of your tribe is really the reason why I think amazing people get together. And good morning to everyone, wherever you are. You definitely are making the decision to be here and leaving all the other excuses and reasons behind you so that you can be here. So this is an honor and a privilege to be here. Many of you who are here are dear friends of mine, clients, business partners, and none of us can get through this life on our own. So if you think you have to do it all by yourself, I'm going to give you permission to allow yourself to ask for help, to work with amazing people, and to allow yourself to take from this talk today whatever it is that you need. There's a couple of things that I want to promise you as we start this presentation, is that transformation is guaranteed. 100% commitment is transformation is guaranteed through what I'm going to present today. And not only is it from my education and my experience, but it is from the opportunities of having bumps and bruises along the way of being a serial entrepreneur for 22 years. And more importantly, being able to learn really quick what doesn't work and to keep doing what does work. And so hopefully that is your mantra in life and in business, is that you are a quick learner and that life is all about learning. Nothing's ever a failure. If you are bitter to things that have happened in your life, during this last 3 days of being here with WEN and the summit, I hope that you're giving yourself permission to let those things go. I think as women, we naturally are multitaskers. We love to take on everything. And sometimes we need someone to tell us, you can let those things go because they're not serving you. As I begin my presentation, one of the things I'm going to ask is the chat is open for questions. Towards the end, I'll leave some time for some Q&A. Also, love to have any sharing of aha moments or anything that's really captured your interest and I always call it following your inspiration as you listen to speakers. This is really has served all of us. So Haley, thank you again for putting this on and your entire team. I know that I can't do anything without amazing partners and team members. So thank you everyone for making this possible. So you've got my guarantee, guys. You've got 100% guarantee that transformation will happen during this presentation. And it's not because of anything new or different that you haven't heard, but that you're in a different place in your life. Who you were 30 days ago and even who you were yesterday is totally different than the person that's on this call today. So transformation is guaranteed because you are not the story you came from. I'm going to open with a life-changing experience. And for many of you, life-changing experience are because it allowed you to feel some pain. It allowed you to experience things that you never probably would have experienced any other way. So when I was 26 years old, I had checked all the boxes on my list. I was an aspiring student, graduating with experiences that I would never give up. I had checked all the boxes, had a career, I had a lifestyle that I was happy about, and there was a couple of boxes that weren't checked. I wasn't married, I didn't have a family, and those were things that were important to me. Those were values that I wanted and needed so much, but it wasn't happening. So at 26, I decided to adopt two children, 6 and 7 years old. And these two children were the only biological set of a family of 5 children. Their parents were teenagers, and unfortunately, they had got messed up with drugs, incarceration, and had multiple children with different people. So these two children of mine were the only set, and I decided to adopt them. I had never been a parent before, didn't understand how to be a parent, and I was a busy entrepreneur. And so all I knew was how to run businesses and how to do what I knew best, which was to work really, really hard. And so when I made this decision, I called my mom and she said, just tell them that I'm grandma and whatever they need, you just let them know that I love them. And she was 100% full support of what I was going to do. I didn't realize that my character would be questioned. I didn't realize my intention of adopting children as a single woman would be questioned. I said, other people just go get a driver's license and they're given permission to drive the road and have the power of a car. And you're going to integrate me where I've got a career, I've got a business, I've got all the things that I think a good family should have. And so through that experience, the first reality check of mine was, wow, the things that really matter in life, sometimes some people aren't prepared for it, but I was over prepared and I wanted to bless these children's lives with the intent that I wanted to give. But it was a painstaking experience. It cost thousands and thousands of dollars to have the adoption happen. But when I was able to adopt them, I kept the adoption open, so they had full access to their family had full access to them, but they would stay in my home and they would be raised with, the culture and the ideas that I had as a parent. And so one of the things I learned really quickly is that I needed to hire a nanny. And that nanny helped me with just the day in and day out tasks, just helping me kind of understand that my time needed to be shared, and that was really hard. But I made a promise to these two amazing little children, 6 and 7, Kobe and Kitana, and I said, you will never be the story you came from. I will never give you an excuse to ever be drug addicts, teenage pregnancy, incarcerated. And throughout that entire time of being their mom, they are now 22 and 21. My daughter has sang on the Great Wall of China. She has served the women in Guatemala with building stoves for women and children. My son lived in Uganda for 2 years, serving the people there with helping the very poor of the poor. And so, as I start my presentation today, and you think about money and mindset, there's a couple of golden nuggets along the way that I hope you'll pick up and you'll look at and you'll put in your pocket and you'll take on this journey with you. And I'm here to help you keep your promises to yourself, to your family, and maybe to people that you serve, your clients, your business owners, your employees. And this has been the theme of my life. This has been the theme of why I do what I do. So if you ever need someone that understands the pains and the struggles and the frustration and the wins and the successes and the excitement of life, I'd love to be that friend of yours. I'd love to be that person who gets to help you along this journey. One of the things that I really value is being able to do what I do really well because of the people around me. And so I'm going to share my screen during my talk, and I'm actually going to present the speaker reel that I have as I open up this part of my presentation. A 90-day sprint on how you're going to hit your revenue goals is what we want to talk about first. So, many of you here today, some of you are struggling because you're just trying to pick yourself up from amidst the pandemic and amidst all the things that you had to do. And it was probably really hard because there was so much uncertainty. But I want to give you permission. Uncertainty is the key to resilience. So become resilient in your business today. Let's focus on what you can do right now with your plan. Let's talk about some revenue goals. Let's talk about some networking opportunities. Let's talk about what you're currently doing in the space. Become the expert and authority to help you succeed at your goals. So as you can kind of see, my passion in business has come from 22 years of being a serial entrepreneur. But more importantly, ladies and gentlemen, one of the biggest gifts I've ever received was surrounding myself with smarter people, people who knew more than me, and people who could teach me so many things and coach me up, because sometimes I didn't know the answers to my questions, and sometimes I didn't know how to understand the things that I was struggling with. So when we talk about mindset, it's an ongoing struggle, even at the level I'm at, because as you continue to grow and you continue to up level in your life, things will start to unearth themselves. Things will start to show themselves. So this presentation today, I want to show the more human, real side of who I am, but also show you the power of a CEO and entrepreneur spirit that I have, and I've been able to cultivate that. And so I'm really excited to be here with you. Mindset in business is the first factor when you plan out your entrepreneur experience that a lot of people don't take the time to figure out. And I'm not telling you stop everything in your business, but it needs its place in priorities and how you plan out to be this most successful business owner. A lot of times mindset, is this woo-woo feeling. A lot of times people feel like, well, Char, I don't have enough time. I keep hearing all these things, and, sometimes it's a rabbit hole. I can't really get to it. I can't really focus on it. But mindset is everything. When you think about mindset, when you're dealing with your sales, your marketing, your relationships, your goals, mindset is literally the thing that needs to shift in order for you to get those things. Where I'm talking to you today is not the same person who I was a year ago, 2 years ago, even 22 years ago. My mindset has come and has been shifted and has changed and has evolved because of the things I'm going to go ahead and teach you today on this presentation. When people come to me and they say, Char, I have these problems in my business. It's relating my marketing. My sales pipeline isn't filled. I'm really struggling in getting speaking opportunities. Sometimes some of the biggest questions that they come with is I can't achieve work-life balance. All these things that I'm spending money on, I can't figure out why it's not working. And so I always start with this, is your belief system, your mindset, the culture, and the permissions you give yourself. And sometimes those are the hardest things. And ladies, especially because of our innate nature, I believe that we were given the ability to multitask, to naturally nurture, to naturally want to accomplish things and give. But there's a couple of things that are flawed about those assumptions. And the reason why they're flawed is because we have outside influences. Sometimes we don't realize who we are and what our purpose is. And the third biggest reason why it's a flaw is sometimes it's the story we tell ourselves. So today I'm going to give you some tools and ways to handle some of the flaws of not our own doing, but because of the environments or the families we were raised in, and even the experiences that we go through, whether it was failure or success. There are always, the root cause of those things are always about the mindset you have, the habits you carry. And for me personally, it was a story that I was telling. Because transformation is guaranteed through my presentation, I want to, again, leave the chat open for you to ask questions. And towards the end of my presentation, I'm going to open the floor up for any aha moments, any points of clarification that I can help you with. So one of the biggest things that happens is, what is your definition of money? Is it a tool? Is it associated to your worth? Do you look at your bank account today and say, because I only have $200 in it, my worth is only worth $200 in it? All of these thoughts and all of these things that you think about can hurt you or help you. So as you think about what your definition of money is, when you're at this level of the game, money is a tool. It is simply a tool to help you get the things you want. It is a tool to help you unlock opportunities. It's a tool to help you get into that networking group where they're at $3 to $5 million net worth. It is a tool. It has nothing to do with who you are, what you believe about yourself. It has nothing to do with if you're a good person or a bad person. When that happens, it is what we consider in this space a worth grab. When I need to make $1 million, it's a worth grab. when I need to show up every single day in my business because I want to show up, it can be a worth grab. And because it's a worth grab, we have to kind of give an awareness and a time to ask specific questions. And here's some 3 questions. Worth grab. When you grab outside of you to define who you are, it's that you're looking for an external experience or an object or a type of worth, an accolade to give you what you already are. Women, this is so important and valuable. If I were to highlight anything on my notes for this part of my presentation, it's to say, am I worth grabbing in my business and in my personal life, in my money and my health? Because the story I'm telling myself is when I get to be a size 2, then I'm worth something. When I make $100,000 this month, I'm worth something. When you are worth grabbing, that means that you're looking for an external validation for the internal dialogue that you're giving yourself. And so what do you have to do? How do you first deal with this? Well, first, identify, are you worth grabbing? I was doing that a lot of times in my career as I was doing my internship at Walt Disney World, as I was, being recruited by companies in my corporate role. I was doing those checklist items as a way for me to feel like I accomplished everything in life. And as I got a little bit older and a little bit wiser, I realized that I already had the abilities to have everything I wanted. I didn't need those accolades to then give me permission to step into my imaginable experiences as a CEO. That was external to try to satisfy my internal. What we want to do is start our money mindset from the internal dialogue we give ourselves in order to then start from there. That is the biggest aha moment that I had from going from 6 figures to 7 figures. Was I already had the skill set, I already had the abilities, I already had the willingness to learn. I was willing to have the right coaches coach me because I was willing to take what I already could offer and then use that to get what I wanted. And it wasn't the other way around. That simple shift didn't happen overnight though. It took years. It took hundreds and hours of reading, coaching, executing, failing, learning, redoing things over and over again. And it was simple grit that I could actually take myself and position myself in a way that said, I am already a 7-figure income earner. I am already a CEO of 12 successful businesses. I am already with a network of amazing human beings. And when I could start with me, then my outside changed. My relationships changed. The wrong relationships went away. So as I did that dialogue, and then I changed that truth, it allowed me to have amazing experiences, and I started attracting relationships that I could never do my life without now. And this is where I think a lot of women CEOs will tell themselves, I've got to do it the other way, Shar. I've got to have these accolades in order to then give me my worth. And I say, no. I coach up so that you know that you already are these things you want. You are already a successful mother. You already are all these amazing things. Now go out in the world and go do them. And so ladies, I want to really dive into you as we go through this presentation that these aha moments are a little scary. They're going to be something you might not want to deal with right now. And for some of us who've been told by the outside world, whether it's our spouses or our children, and even our parents and our peers, you have to quiet those voices in your mind. You have to quiet those voices in your environment. And sometimes you have to get rid of some of those voices because it will not help you. It does not serve you. So as you do that and as you figure that out, I want to tell you one of the big things that has happened. And this is probably where the reality of life has come in. When you are in a feminine position, you are opening yourself up to receive. When you're masculine, you are very much task and force. And so when I made these shifts in my business and in my mindset, I had to realize, what energy was I using? Was I using my feminine energy or was I using my masculine energy? And the real aha moment is when I could use both simultaneously to create synergy. Now, I won't have enough time to dive into the power of the feminine and masculine energy, but I want you to circle that and highlight that as something that I want you to ask yourself. Do I use my feminine energy to attract and receive? Or do I use my masculine energy as to push and force things? And when you have both working simultaneously, you actually are able to have the power, which is creation, which is creating programs and opportunities for yourself, creating relationships that you would never have had. Because a lot of times when we are very masculine and very task oriented, it's because we are trying to get things done. But we're not being led by inspiration and creativity, and we're not helping ourselves at all, because that's where burnout happens. That's when we feel like we're not good enough, and that's when we're forcing things to happen instead of naturally allowing things to happen. One of the things that I don't really share very much, but in my brick and mortar marketing business, 90% of my clients are men. I have CEOs, I have clients who have 300 million revenue streams. I have clients through the pandemic who made positions, and 90% of them were men. And I always wondered, why do I attract masculine energy? And it was because I was very masculine in my business. And as I've made these changes and I've had these aha moments, I actually get to work with 90% of women in my online space, in my coaching program, in my Coach the Coach Academy. They are female energy because I realized that my feminine energy was where I was creating things. And that's where you realize where you are successful, where you want to focus your energy and your time on. I love that. Feminine and masculine energy is another foundation in building the business and the life of your dreams. You have to understand how it plays into this, because money mindset is how you use the energies and the tools you have. So let me just give you a couple of tips and tricks when you're using your feminine and masculine energy. What I usually do is at 5 a.m., some of you kind of get texts from me that early, I know. You guys are so excited when your text rings and it's sharp at 5 a.m. in Mountain Standard Time. Lil knows this for sure. When you are able to get up in the morning, I do a power hour at 5 a.m. This is where I set my intention for the day. This is where I do 15 minutes of exercise and stretching. This is where I get to intentionally set my day and prioritize the things in my energy. I don't pick up my phone. I don't pick up my checklist. I literally set the intention for the day. And at 5 a.m., my house is quiet. No one's up, no one's needing me, I'm not having to be anywhere. But at 5 a.m., I get to list all the things in gratitude in my prayer time. If you use this as your inspiration time, however you call in your energy and your God. The secret, though, that I found is that during this 5 a.m., I actually have a journal. And I actually will write all the things that I'm inspired. Who I need to call specifically, who I need to make a meeting with, who I need to reach out to, what project I'm working on that needs a special attention to. I use that as the way to receive from above inspiration to dictate my day. Now, my day is pretty stacked. Like, my day's already planned out 2 weeks in advance. Like, I have my schedule back to back to back. It is pretty solid. So when you think about 5 a.m. and how does Char have time, I make time for it. I prioritize it. It's like getting in the car, guys, and turning on, the GPS and knowing where you're going. Don't get in the car and don't turn on your GPS. That means you're going to stay stuck and you're not going to get anywhere. So my power hour is to help me get aligned with my day and set my intention, but it's like my GPS. I use this to guide my day in my businesses, in my relationships, in making money. It is really critical for me to do that. And if I don't do it, the day goes off. The day doesn't flow the way it does. It feels very forced. It feels very stiff, stuck. And I don't know how that feels for you, but I feel that way when I'm off, when something's not right. It's because I didn't take the time to set the first things first. So here's a story of money, and I'm going to challenge you as you write the notes for this part of my presentation as a way to ask yourself 3 questions. What is the story of money in your life? Is it from your parents? Is it from a divorce? Is it from a career choice? Is it coming from what the world is telling you should accomplish? Second is, can you change your story with money? It's a yes or a no. And the third, which is really vulnerable, so I don't want you to raise your hand in the group and tell everyone, but the third is, will you give yourself permission to let go of the story that's not serving you? That's yes or no. So I was raised in Hawaii. I love sunshine. I live in Utah where there's lots of snow today and it's really cold. And all of my clients know that I will not drive in the snow if it's coming down hard, if I can't see the road, because I get really overwhelmed and stressed out about driving in the snow. I just say, let's do Zoom. So just kind of understand that that's really important to me. I do not like the snow. It is really hard to live in, but I'm here, and I wish I'd just stay on the mountains and not on the road when I have to drive. So when I moved from Hawaii to Utah, I realized I had a lot of stories that I was telling myself. And one of the things that I realized is that being raised in Hawaii, the natural culture there is to give, is to give the shirt off your back, is to over deliver. It's to serve so many people. And I had to make the shift because I realized that I was always over giving and giving, but I wasn't crafting the power of the ask. That I'd always be hesitant about asking for a $100,000 contract. I'd be always hesitant to ask for a monthly retainer of $7,500. And so when I moved here, I realized that the aha moment was the story I was telling myself. And there's nothing bad about the culture I was raised in. It was nothing bad about the parents that taught me to serve and love other people. But it wasn't serving me in a way that I could take care of myself. One of the client organizations that I work with, it's really helped. We've had to help them shift their mindset around giving, because they end up with no money to keep the lights in their office on. I mean, that's a really real picture of how their story teaches them that. So during my time of realizing this story that I was telling myself, when I moved here 7 years ago, I had to write myself a permission through a love letter to money that allowed me to let this belief go, to give myself permission to cultivate a new way of living and doing my business. And so the story of money, I had to give permission to love and appreciate my parents, to love and appreciate the culture I was raised in, and to love and appreciate myself. That I'm naturally a person who loves to give. I'm naturally a person who's going to serve without question. But I had to set boundaries. I had to be able to say no. And I had to be able to say yes to myself first. And those are sometimes hard when we're in a service-based business. I don't know how many of you are service-based businesses, but a lot of us who are service-based businesses, this is a huge hurdle for us to overcome, because we're not able to grow and scale our businesses unless you take care of this story that you're telling yourself, especially when you feel called to the work that you're doing, especially when you see your clients achieve success. You have to be able to bet on yourself first. You have to say yes to yourself. You have to be able to give and serve yourself first in order to give from a place of overflow. You can never give from a place of empty. And that's where burnout, resentment can happen. That's where you feel frustrated and you feel relegated to the back of the bus. Those are emotions that should bring you some awareness. So in this story, it helped me develop a couple of things, a couple of habits that have helped myself and my clients really understand this. So here it is. I use the first example of who is in your car. In your life, you are going to be driving along on your road to success, and I want you to know that fear is going to be in your car. Anger is going to be in your car. Love, success, happiness also are in your car. Faith is in your car. Work is in your car. When you figure out who is driving your car on your way to this success and these goals that you have and all the things you want, You will decide every single day who is driving your car. And I want to give this disclaimer. Fear, frustration, anger, that's all necessary. When you're ready to jump off a cliff, if you don't have any fear about it, that will not serve you, right? So when you're making decisions in life, fear is necessary. It is a necessary tool to help you make decisions. That intuition, that gut, doubt, worry, all of those emotions are necessary. It's just you get to decide who drives your car, who drives your business today. Is it faith? Is it hard work? Is it fear? Is it anger? Is it resentment? Is it jealousy? Is it bitterness? And the reason why this exercise is critical to ask yourself is because when you get up in the morning and you're handling your busy day and you're feeling yourself disconnected from your goals and you're feeling frustrated, you have to say, who's driving my car? Who is driving my car in my business? Now, just like a car, right? You have signals, you have windows, you have tires, you have all these things playing so that the car goes. It's just like your business. All of these pieces of your car help your car go. So do you have your sales down? Do you have your marketing down? Do you have your networking down? Do you show up to your training? Do you have a coach that helps you? All those pieces are to help you have a good car that works. But guess what? The driver of the car is who tells you the story of why your business is either successful or a failure. Why you're not good enough and you're not doing enough. Who is driving your car in your business? If you're letting someone else drive your car, it was a decision you make. You own that. 100% of responsibility in your business is you. It's not your spouse. It's not your children. It's not your career. It's not anyone else. It's you. And when you can take that responsibility and own that, there's so much freedom to be had. There is so much success to be had when you own 100% of your decisions. So who's driving your car? What story are you telling yourself? What are you realizing that you're not giving yourself permission to do? That you're not even betting on yourself? And that realization is going to unlock those things in your mind and give you permission to lead with your heart. You need both your heart and your mind to work simultaneously together. You need your feminine and masculine energy to be working together, so there's tremendous synergy. So here's the last thing before I open up to questions and answers and aha moments. One of the tools that I use to help my clients coach them up is to write a love letter to money. And I want you to highlight that and circle that because this letter is a little different. It is patterned after the Hawaiian word ho'oponopono. This is a very big word in this space now. A lot of people are using this pattern to help themselves. The letter to money is focused on, one, asking for forgiveness. Some of us treated money foolishly. Maybe some of us found ourselves in bankruptcy. Some of us maybe found ourselves struggling to pay the bills. Even for some of us who've gone through those hard things, we still carry that around with us. So we need to have a forgiveness in this letter that says, I'm so sorry, I didn't treat you well. I didn't treat you the way it should have been. I'm so sorry. I was telling myself a story when I was a little kid, and that's how I handled my money. I got into credit card debt because I was handling my money the way I knew how. I was following what my friends were doing. Okay? Forgiveness in the love letter is a very important foundation of why the love letter to money works. So as you ask for forgiveness from money, you just lay it on the table. You lay all the things that you didn't know. You only knew what you did because of what you knew at the time. But who you are today is not that same person. The second part is you want to identify the relationship you want with money. Money, I want to be a partner. I want to have you as a tool in my set of tools is because I need to open up opportunities, whether it's connections, relationships, networking, speaking, increasing sales and opportunities. I want to make our relationship right. This is what I want from you. This is what I want our relationship to look like. The third part is what you're willing to do. Are you willing to get a coach to help you understand finances? Are you willing to do your P&L statement? Are you willing to get an accountant? Hey, maybe you're just willing to just open up that bag of receipts and go, okay, I need to really deal with this. You make these commitments in this next paragraph, and it might be a couple. It's okay. I've had 3 or 4 page letters, believe me. And in that, you want to write out your commitment. I want us to have a thriving relationship. I want to be able to talk about money. I want to be able to share my frustrations and learn more about you and how I do this. I'm going to read a book about finances. I'm going to show up to talk about money. I'm going to talk about money, which is hard. And then the 4th paragraph, and this is probably the most vulnerable, is that you want to tell money all the things you want. And what I mean by that is emotionally. It's like a love letter when you write a love letter. And I know we don't usually write love letters now because the introduction of email and posting and texting and all that. But in this last part, you want to leave this emotional connection to money that says, I love you so much. Not because I need you to validate who I am. I love you so much because you are a tool that can help me help my family. You can help me help so many people in my business. You want to make it such an emotional connection. And as you write this love letter to money, one of the things that's been really powerful is that the love letter will change. I have written 4 significant love letters in my entire career because at different times I was dealing with different things. And it allowed me to release emotions, to release this pain that I had about money. Because mainly money is just the outward experience of what's happening internally in our dialogue. And that's why I always tell you, this love letter, it's not to be shared. It's not to be, put away. It's really for you to use until you don't need it anymore. Some of my clients will throw it away. Some of them will burn it. Some of them will just keep it in a journal so that they can see where they are. So when they write the next love letter, they can say, wow, this person at that time was not me. This is who I am today. At the end of the love letter exercise, one of the things I do is I actually have my clients figure out, what are some call to actions? What are some things that they have to get done? And they start putting that in place and they start scheduling it. There's, the handoff of, maybe they've got to read a book or get some financial coaching or understand the mechanics of it. But this love letter is the start of this relationship with money so that both people in the relationship understand, what happened, what went wrong, what are the things that you want to do together, what your commitment is, and then what you want what you want. And ladies, I always say this to my clients, I bet on you. I bet on you. I believe in you. If you ever need someone to tell you that, I don't know, Char, I'm really struggling. I always tell them, come talk to me. Come bet on yourself because I believe in you. And as you close this love letter, one of my biggest asks that I ask with clients who are in this stage of my coaching is date it and give yourself permission to have this love letter with you as you're reflecting on some of these awareness that comes up when you're figuring out, what your business is going to look like. Have this love letter there if you need a place to remember those things. It's been such a great time to spend with you today, guys. I hope this was a place for you to give yourself permission to talk about some hard things, but also to celebrate the wins and successes that you've come a long way. Your business is about all those people that you're serving, and your life is about all the people and the promises. And I know you've been transformed in one way or another to really give yourself permission to have the life you want and have everything you've ever wanted. I'm going to turn the time over to questions and discussions, and I'm going to make an offer that's going to really hopefully bless one of you, many of you, is I'm offering, because of Haley's amazing love for all of us speakers and for all of us members in her community, 30 days of coaching with me, and it can be done anytime. In the chat you'll see my links and sign up for it, but let me share my screen so that you can have this. And here it is. This is 30 days of coaching and just really deep diving into your business and having the permission to get together and meet my other clients, meet some amazing individuals, both men and women, who I get to serve every day. And this is here for you. We also have it at our virtual booth. And if you have questions, text me. I'm super personal. I like to make myself accessible to you, but I'd love for you to connect and see what we could do to help and continue to grow your business and yourself. Haley, I'm going to turn the time over to you into the chat. If there are questions and aha moments, I'd love for you to go ahead and share now. And look forward to talking to you. Thanks everyone for being here.
Amazing. Thank you guys. Let's give Charlene a huge round of applause and some reactions and some loves. And yeah,
Yay.
we learned this in Boy Scouts with the round of applause.
Love it.
So Erica says, can you put that slide back up?
Yes, I sure can. Let me
And
do
can you
that.
also share your links that you posted above again, please, for people?
Yes, I will do that again. Take a screenshot, whatever has to happen, all those amazing things. Oh, I love that heart. That's so fun. Look at
Yeah,
that.
if you can use your reaction button.
Yes, yes, yes. I'm going to go ahead and
Do that.
do my little, I'll cut and paste it again for you. Thanks so much. Any aha moments, guys? Anything that you're like, questions. I wanna know what you're thinking, where you are.
Josephine says, I was told to write a money letter 2 days ago. Now I know what to write. This has been so helpful.
Oh, wonderful. I'm so excited. You'll love the experience.
It's validating that I'm doing the right thing. Thank you, Tish.
I love that.
Wonderful. So what questions do you guys have or comments? You can feel free to unmute yourself if you like.
I like this letter a lot better than one I had been asked to write previously. A different coach had said to write all the different people on the different bills of the letter, and it just seemed way too abstract.
Yeah, I'm super tactile. Like I like to have things in order and I like things to flow and I want things to happen.
Aha, give yourself permission to share your worth.
Yes.
I think there's also the aha of stand in, that internally standing in your worth. Because a lot of times we don't spend time with ourselves and we don't spend time with that. Cool. What other questions or comments do y'all have?
I just wanted to say thank you because I knew that like the forgiveness towards money was important because I've heard that a lot, but I never had like those key points to really help me stay on track and kind of fine tune where exactly I need to be with it. So I think that's a really awesome, helpful tool. So thank you so much.
Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you. You know what's really great, ladies, is sometimes we can identify really quickly if we are giving or taking, and that energy is masculine or feminine. So if we're always showing up and, taking, we actually repel opportunity. We actually repel people who want to work with us because we're trying to force the relationship and we're trying to force something out of it instead of just allowing it to come to us. Now, here's a disclaimer. There's nothing wrong with being, aggressive and achiever and you want to have things and you want to get things done and you're persistent, the power of the follow-up, when you're talking about sales. But there's a certain way to do that. And of course, during our 30-day coaching, I'm going to talk about how grace plays into sales and marketing and how you can actually create the ask without having to ask. I believe in organic marketing. I've never paid a single dollar for advertisement because all of my business has come by referral. And so I want to make sure that's really clear as my disclaimer, guys. I don't want you to lose that power of, being persistent and being awesome at follow-up. But in this coaching that you guys are going to participate in, we're going to focus on having grace, having the ask, not the ask, but having them come to you. It's really different when people come to you versus you having to force the conversation.
I'm seeing a theme of that during this summit today is the getting people to come to you.
Yes.
And start the conversation.
Yes. It's so much more easier. It makes, having a business that much easier and having people around you who want to, work with you and feel like, hey, let's make some things happen. It naturally happens without forcing it. And you know what happens, guys? You actually start identifying the takers in your life, whether it's your network or your clients. You actually start saying, wow, I can identify that person. And then you can have a conversation and say, this is where my energy is, and it's a good fit if we can do this. If not, it's okay. And then you don't feel bad for setting a boundary. You don't feel bad for setting an expectation of the relationship. Just like that love letter to money, just like picking who's driving in your car. All of a sudden, your conversations and your dialogue and the words you use change because the inside of you has changed.
I love it. Yeah.
I love that
With that-
too. And I love what you're saying about the energy, because yeah, I think what we talk about with the, that's the energy that we put off. And so that's the energy that we then attract. And I have certainly swung more towards the feminine side of energy in my business now versus when I was in the leadership business world. And which is kind of an interesting shift, right? Well, I don't know if it's just interesting to note that happens. So I always say I work mainly with women and a few brave men, but I think it just struck me today, I work with feminine energy. So even when I'm working with men, it's with the feminine energy. So I loved what you said about that. It really attracts that. So.
Oh, thanks, Susan, for sharing that. And it's always so good to see you again.
Yeah, you too. Thank you.
I'm so happy to hear that. And ladies, as we look at our businesses, we are not the business, right? The business is a reflection of who we are. So as we continue to develop, as we continue to level up, as we continue to ask a better question, our business will transform. So personal development is the key, but taking action and executing on the things you've heard today is going to determine the success of what that looks like in your business. You just can't take hundreds and hundreds of pages of notes and expect it to happen. You've got to take the action inside of you. And that's an important part on this 30-day coaching that we're going to do when you guys are here with us, is that we're going to say, how do you execute, Char? How do you get it into action? And so Haley knows this about myself. I'm like, let's just do it. Let's just work on it. Let's just get messy. Let's roll up our sleeves, because that's the power of actually taking what you're learning and executing, and then learning quickly and learning how to not do it wrong, but how to actually get something from it where you continue to grow and to continue to level up. So this is fun. I hope you guys all take the chance. You can message me, sign up on our email list. We are going to have it specifically just for the WEN Summit. For all of those who participate and sign up, we'd love to work with you. Haley, any other questions? I keep seeing Josephine. I had a dream seeing who's driving my car. Awesome. I love that. I love that. Any other questions? Any other aha moments? I'd love to share that before we turn the time over.
I would love to share an aha moment. I owned a bakery, and I got that calling after 11 years, that it was time to close the bakery, that I've accomplished everything that I needed to do within that bakery. And there are a lot of ups, a lot of downs, but and money was a huge issue. So after I closed the bakery, and that was the end of 2019, right before the pandemic. And I said, gosh, and what are we going to do about money? And then I just literally put it out to the universe. I wanted to write my book. I wanted to tell my story. Did I know where the money was coming from? No, I had no idea. But I started. And the money came each time I needed to pay a bill for the book. So I actually had to change my mindset, not at first realizing that was what I was doing. And it was free and liberating when you actually let it go. It was wonderful.
Powerful. I love that, Beth. Thank you. And ladies, it's in you. What you want is already there. And it's inconceivable. I get it. I know. It's like, sure, you're unrealistic. That's not possible. It is totally possible. I promise. Like, I've seen it. It's happening. My clients are seeing it. Our community is seeing it. It is inside of you. What you want, you already have. There's no woo-woo about it. It is already there. Bet on yourself.
It's so
Maybe
totally.
don't you think we sort of make it all up anyway? And I'm a writer, I get it, but I think we sort of make it all up as we go along. And if we make it up and say, "Oh, I have lots of money coming in tomorrow," so like a check shows up. It's the weirdest thing. I really think it's all in our head. It's half of it is a story we make up.
It is.
You
And Lily,
absolutely-
that's the power of having the right people around you. Because when I say this is what we're doing, everyone's like, Char's a little crazy. But I'm like, yep, we are. But guess what? It's going to happen. And one of the things I'm working on, guys, we just got permission from the TV station here to actually run a week-long summit for it on TV with them in partnership. And I didn't know that was going to happen, but I'm sure everyone else wanted it to happen with, just the opportunities that were coming. And so it's in us. We just have to allow it. Oh, Susan, I can't wait. You're going to be amazing. I can't wait to chat and have you in there. And everyone else, join. There's no cost to do this 30-day offer that I have. I just want to gift you guys because you have so many people you can help. And if I can help you do that, that is a gift to me because we're helping so many people achieve what they want in life. So thank you so much. Haley, thank you so much. I appreciate it in this opportunity.
Thank you. This has been amazing. So yeah, I mean, I'm just seeing all the comments go flowing in. So I was letting it happen a bit organically here. So just amazing. Thank you, Charlene. If you guys will use your little reactions, you can give her hearts or the little party thing, please feel free to give her a reaction. Amazing. Thank you, Charlene. I think you're making a huge impact in women's lives. Please take advantage of her offer. It's a gift to yourself, really. And so if you're on a desktop, I don't know how to do it on the phone. There's a thing across the bottom of the Zoom thing that has reactions as one of the options. So, I am just grateful that you are here. So thank you, everybody. Thank you for spending time with us here today.